Welcome to another reading of Mehera-Meher. We're on page 317, kind of like quarter of the way down. If it were Friday, Baba reminded them that a certain station played prayers of different religions. Mehra recalled Zoroastrian, Sanskrit, Muslim, Christian hymns, Indian bhajans of Tukaram, and others were played. Oh, wonderful. Short prayers of all faiths were recited one after another. It sounded so beautiful. We always waited for that program. The Christian prayer was the hymn, Take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to thee. Take my moments and my days. Let them flow in ceaseless praise. The hymn, Take My Life and Let It Be, was written by Frances Ridley Havergal, 1836 to 1879, who felt she had been, quote unquote, given it. She once stated, These little couplets formed themselves and chimed in my heart, one after another, till they finished. Someone typed and sent the lyrics to Baba, who had them read out. I'll read it again, the prayer, the hymn. Take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to thee. Take my moments and my days. Let them flow in ceaseless praise. Mani added, to hear that and be sitting with Baba was something special. At times, Baba and the women listened to the BBC. On the hour, the signature tune was played. The chimes of Big Ben sounded, and then the news was read. Baba didn't like Western classical music or opera, said Mehera. He liked Spanish, quick, lively tunes. If any piano music came on and Mehera had stepped out of the room to the bathroom or to bring something, Baba said, Call Mehera quickly. They're playing the piano. Mehera washed her hands and rushed to hear it. Did you like it? Baba asked. I know you like the piano. Sometimes Baba listened to the Voice of America breakfast show featuring Phil Irwin, an announcer whose deep, smooth voice Baba admired. Baba enjoyed the way Irwin announced things and interviewed people, Mani explained. Whenever Mani was changing the station and Phil Irwin's voice was heard, Baba snapped his fingers. That fellow has come on. Leave it. Let's listen. He has a nice voice, and the program is also good. And the side note says Phil Irwin, 1934 to the death date is not listed if he's died, hosted the 2-hour VOA Voice of America breakfast show from 1962 until he retired in 1985. Irwin visited India in 1973 as part of a worldwide promotional tour. It was on The Voice of America that Baba first heard the country and western singer Jim Reeves. When Mani saw how much Baba enjoyed the song, she wrote someone to send a record of Jim Reeves. Later, Arnavaz sent some of Jim Reeves's records from Bombay, and Mani purchased others from Pune Music Mart. And the side note says, the Jim Reeves record, There's a Heartache Following Me, was first sent to Baba by Adi Jr. in the late 1960s and played at Mehera-Meher in Mandali Hall. Baba, however, mostly listened to Jim Reeves at Guru Prasad. Baba commented about Jim Reeves. His voice touches my heart. It has dard. That's why I like it. I'm forgetting what dard is. Meher, do you remember?
That's heart.
Heart? Oh, thank you, Mikal.
Mhm.
What language is that? Gujarati?
Probably.
No,
Yeah.
I think D-A-R-D, Dard, right?
Right. Yep.
Dard is sadness.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Oh, I know that it's heart.
Dard is actually sadness. It's in Hindi.
Dart with an R.
Yeah, D-A-R-D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What language? What
Hindi.
language?
Hindi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Mehera at Meherazad, date unknown, picture by Mani. Chapter 138, lunchtime. At 8:45 or 9 a.m., holding Mehera's hand, Baba came out of the main house to go to Mandali Hall. Until 1965, Baba often walked very slowly to the hall, with Mehera on one side, Goher on the other, and Meheru following a few minutes later. Afterwards, when osteoarthritis set in, Baba used the lift chair exclusively, both to and from the house. For the last 5 years, Baba didn't even go through the garden to the mandali, Mehera recalled sadly. He used to hold my hand and walk, but now that too stopped. Only in the house on the smooth flooring. He couldn't lift his leg much. He walked very slowly to the dining room. Baba loved walking and has climbed the hills around Meherazad. He walked so fast and beautifully, but since his hip was broken, it became very uncomfortable for him to walk. We felt very sad to see Baba walk so slowly with a limp. But Baba never wanted us to put on a long face. He always wanted us to be happy, to look cheerful. That helped Baba, he said. So we always would be happy, so that he was happy, and to obey him. To love and obey him, that is what he wanted. Mehera continued. Baba couldn't do without walking, so can you imagine all those 12 years since 1957? Baba did not walk as he wanted. He could not sing or talk. All this was done for each of us. Baba loves each so much. How many sanskaras Baba must have washed away, demolished. That is why we are fit to love him now. He made it possible. His love is most important, and now he wants love from us. I always think it's not that he wants love from us. I mean, he wants it, but he wants it so we will achieve God, if that can be said. Just my opinion. And now he wants love for us. God does not want anything from us, just love. That is most precious to him. Mehera quoted Kabir, just as water is life to a fish, so does a mother instinctively love a child. This is how Ram wants to be loved. To Ram, only love is precious. How fortunate it is that you love Baba. For security, each of the women Mandali had a whistle to summon help in case of an emergency. Mani kept hers, for example, beside her bed. In addition, a large whistle hung outside on the banister. Meheru blew this whistle after Baba was seated in the lift chair and Mehera had stepped back inside. Meheru said, I usually went ahead when Baba told me to blow the whistle to prepare the mandali. After Baba was seated, Goher called out to Kaka, Francis, and the boys to come and lift Baba's chair. 2 garden boys and 2 other male servants came, and Baba smiled and patted them as he was carried to the hall. He loved everyone and always made them feel that they were more than servants. Oh, awesome, Mehera noted. Usually Goher followed Baba on a small child's bicycle. She had begun using to cycle between the men and women's side of Meherazad.
There's 2 side notes.
The first one is the sandals now displayed in Baba's bedroom are the ones he wore during the last 2 or 3 years of his life. Hence, they are not worn down much. The right heel was made higher to compensate for the difference in length of Baba's legs as a result of the second accident. The other side note concerns Goher's bicycle, I guess. The bicycle was sent by Meherwan Jesawala from Pune in December 1965. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Ranu remained on the veranda until Baba was in the hall and then went about her work. Sometimes she or Goher carried a kettle of warm water to the hall for Baba to wash his hands, if it were needed, which was not always. A basin of water was kept by his chair there. Baba wiped his hands with a small towel and then gave it to be washed. He always used a fresh towel, never the same one again. At the back door of the hall were 2 brass bells, one large and one small. If the large one was rung, it meant Baba wanted Goher. If the smaller one was struck, it meant money. The men just shouted for Rano, who never entered the hall unless called. After Baba went to Mandali Hall, Meru said, Mera and I spent some time in the garden and then came in and readied Baba's bed. I went to wash Baba's clothes also, and the same time factor of how long or short a time Baba spent with the men affected our pace and our time in the garden and other work. Baba returned around 11, so the women had little less than 2 hours to do their chores. If they had to take a bath, they did it then. If there were torn sadras to stitch or missing buttons on Baba's coat to be replaced, it was done at that time. And on the side note, In the later years, the women used Amway's Legacy of Clean Laundry detergent for Baba's clothes, sent by George McCune. Mehera went to the dining room, where she cleaned Baba's electric razor. Meru emptied the basin and pail outside and straightened Baba's chair. Baba's room had already been dusted and swept by the servant, and Meru had hung Baba's linen to air on a line strung in his room. Next, Mehera made Baba's bed, shook the mosquito curtain neatly, and neatly put it up. At times, when it was chilly, to avoid having a draft on Baba, a sheet was draped over his mosquito net on the head side. The pillowcase and draw sheet were changed daily. The large sheet underneath was shaken and aired in the sun, and changed if it were warm and Baba had perspired. As mentioned, because Baba perspired so much, they used a double draw sheet on his bed that reached down to the small of his back, which could be untucked and removed if it were wet with perspiration. In this way, the large sheet and his mattress remained dry and unsoiled. So, on the side note, Baba's bedroom was being cleaned while Mehera was with Baba in the dining room. Seeing to his needs during and after breakfast. After Baba dropped his body, however, Mehera herself dusted Baba's room every day. Fresh, lukewarm drinking water was placed in Baba's bedroom. Warm water to wash his hands was kept there as well. In one corner, a brass samovar on a stand and a large plastic basin under it were there for the mandali to wash their hands, with a separate soap and towel for their use. All this had to be emptied and replenished daily, and clean towels put out. That's interesting. In addition, one of the servants swabbed the floor every day with a damp cloth. When the floor was dry, the carpet by Baba's bed was unrolled. When Baba and the women had first moved into the new house in 1948, a Sikh Persian-style carpet was beside Baba's bed, about the same size as the pink one that is there now. Baba had used this pink carpet also, which Katie had sent from Bombay. Baba stood on it for a few days, said Mehera, but one night, when he stood up, his foot slipped, as the carpet was a bit too light. The next morning, Bao told Goher, and Baba himself told us to remove it. So we rolled it up and put it away and always used the Persian one. Can you go back for the... Yeah. Baba's body was laid on the Persian carpet in 1969, and it was buried with him in the tomb. Wow. The pink carpet was kept in its place. Okay. While Baba was with the men, Mehera mashed grated coconut, cardamom, clove, and betel nut in a mortar and pestle and sent it to the hall with Goher. All the time, when your mouth is shut, Mehera explained, you feel stale and want it to be clean. So Baba chewed on a little of this mixture while he was with the mandali. So it's mashed grated coconut, cardamom, clove, and betel nut in a mortar and pestle. Baba chewed on a little of this mixture while he was with the mandali. Sometimes he chewed anise seeds also, and Mehera sent coconut water as well. We used to give Baba coconut water from the Merazat coconut tree. Someone once sent green coconuts from Bombay, and I extracted the sweet water from these and sent it to Baba. Baba was not keen on eating the soft part of the coconut. We put some on his plate, but he didn't like it much. If Baba was in Mandali Hall and Mera was busy washing her hair and dyeing it, before returning to the women's side, Baba asked, "Has Mera finished what she's doing, washing and bathing?" He knew that Mera would want to be ready and present when he came to the house. Right? Mera never wanted to be absent when Baba was with them for any reason. "Go see whether Mera is finished," Baba instructed Goer. "Then I'll come." So on the side note, it says Baba was never given hard coconut to eat. So he ate not the soft coconut and not the hard one. Baba never lifted his order for Mera to dye her hair. She had been doing it herself since 1937, but in the later years, Goher applied it for her. The order about having one person with Mera at all times had been gradually eased, but Baba always wanted us to be aware of Mera's whereabouts, Meru stated, to be within calling distance if she needed anything or anyone, especially in the evening at dusk, and definitely to be close by at night. Someone always had to be near her then. At 10:45 a.m., the Mandali rang a bell, signaling that Baba was about to return. The women assembled at 11 or 11:30. The garden boys, Francis, Bao, and Kaka, carried Baba in the lift chair from the hall to the veranda of the main house. Once, when Rhoda Mystery, Anavaz's sister, was visiting, Baba asked Kaka to name the men who had just carried the chair. Due to illness, Kaka had a type of aphasia and spoke odd words, which would amuse Baba. Baba turned to Rhoda, whose mind tended to go blank in Baba's presence, and asked her to repeat the names Kaka had just said. Rhoda, fumbling attempts to comply, provided Baba with another laugh. Much needed breaks from the intense pressure of his work. And on the side note, Mani almost always slept in the same room with Mera, but if Mani had a bad cold, for instance, she slept elsewhere, and Meru slept in the room with Mera. Baba had instructed Francis to shout, "Jai Baba!" as Francis was leaving. If he did not do it, Baba called him back to say it. When the men left, Mera stepped outside. We girls waited inside just around the corner from the door onto the veranda, she said, peeping out to see if Baba is coming. Peeking through the window, we saw him from afar. Baba wouldn't like us to be on the veranda staring at him in front of the garden boys. They put down his chair and left. Baba clapped or sometimes snapped his fingers for us to come out. Sometimes Goher and Rano was with him. Most of the time, Mani was not inside. She was busy writing in a makeshift office near the house and came after Baba came. Baba, holding my hand, went slowly into his room. At night now, when I think deeply, I can see Baba slowly walking, holding my hand. Baba chatted with the woman for a few minutes before getting out of the lift chair. He asked whether it was early or late. "Did you finish your works?" he inquired. They said they had. Sometimes Mera said, "You're looking a bit tired today, Baba." "Yes, there was a lot of correspondence," he might reply. Said Mera regretfully, "Speaking would have been so much easier for Baba to convey what he had to say, especially when he was uncomfortable in Mandalay Hall, having to sit for hours with a troublesome hip. Mera helped Baba from the chair to his room, where Baba rested for half an hour before lunch. Baba always held Mera's hand when going into the bedroom. Often Baba kissed Mera's hand. I would also feel so much love and kiss Baba's hand, she said. In his bedroom, Baba stood on the carpet by his bed. He was unbuttoned as he unbuttoned his coat. Mera stood beside him and pulled the sleeves to help him take it off. Rano took the coat from her hand, hung it on the wall peg behind the inner door. Baba sat on his bed and relaxed in a relaxed mood. I live on the sadra, he would say, if it were cool. Otherwise, he liked to take it off and lie down in his boxer shorts. Sometimes he also took a thin, fine material to cover himself from the waist down. Baba was told to rest for a little while after being with the Mandali. Besides, he was not usually very hungry, he was not exercising much, and his appetite had diminished. Sometimes Baba told the women to massage his hands, feet, toes, and legs. Baba turned over so that Mani could massage his back. After a few minutes turning over again, he said that he felt better and for them to continue their work. Naja left to finish cooking, Mani to type. Rano read something to Baba as Mera or Meru continued massaging his feet, toes, back, and hip. Once, when Mani was leaning against Baba's back on the bed, supporting him, her back to his, Rano gestured to her. You have your typing to do. You go ahead. I'll do it. No, it's where you have your typing to do. You go ahead. I'll do it. Lean against Baba for you. Mani declined, although she did have typing to do. She knew that Rano wanted a turn to have her back against Baba's. Baba looked up. He too knew what was happening. And on the side note, as noted elsewhere, for work, Baba gestured K, which stood for come. Come in parentheses is work. After a few more minutes of massaging his feet, Baba might ask what food had been cooked. When he was told, he might make a face and say that he wanted bujias or occasionally an omelette instead, and Naja quickly made it. Baba told Mera to prepare food for Mastan, saying, I'm coming soon to the dining room. And after Baba ate, he wanted to feed Mastan so that the dog's food had to be ready. Finished? Baba asked Mera when she returned. She said she was. Baba sat up in bed, turned his leg around, and rested his feet on the cushion. I feel nice now, he said. I feel hungry. What's the time? It's very late now. We must go quickly. Baba pointed to an imaginary watch on his left wrist for time and then brought his forefinger straight back into the air in a gesture that meant it's late. Meru or Rano, whoever was nearby, removed the cushion underneath his feet and placed his slippers there. Raising himself from the bed was a particular strain on Baba's damaged hip joint. To help him, Mera placed one hand underneath Baba's shoulder, the other arm extended in front so that he could hold her arm. While she gave him a small lift, still it was visibly painful whenever Baba stood up. Hand in hand, Baba and Mera walked to the dining room, the others trailing behind. Baba sat at the head of the table by the window, and Meru or Rano pulled his chair out. Baba let go of Mera's hand and held the table before being seated. Mera turned Baba's plate right side up and served his food on it. And on the side note, Mera always kept Baba's plate face down on the white cloth before he came to the table so that no dust would collect on it. She did the same with his teacup, turning it right side up only after he was seated at the table. Mera was also careful to see that no knife or scissors ever pointed toward Baba. Baba's daily fare usually consisted of plain dal and rice, especially in these later years. As Mera served him, he signaled when it was enough rice, curry, or dal. And the side note says, when asking for curry or dal, Baba's gesture was to point to his rice with his thumb, like a liquid being poured over the rice. So Naja tried to get Baba to take something more substantial, but he would say, look, Mera, I ate so much. Still she is saying this. I don't like all this keet nagging. Naja, however, would not give up easily. You don't eat this, Baba. You don't eat that, she fretted. You don't eat enough. Why do you say that? Mera replied, taking Baba's side. Let him be. What has he eaten? Naja demanded. Only that much, like a bird. Red chili chutney was always kept on the table with their meals. Although Mani loved it, she could not eat it, as Baba had once given her the order not to have red chilies. One day, Mera asked Baba, many years ago you told Mani not to eat red chutney. Is she still to keep that order? Should she still eat only green chili chutney? Much to Mani's delight, Baba said she could now have the red chutney. Others, however, had been given certain food restrictions, which were never rescinded. One person was told not to eat potatoes. Anavas could not have peas. Someone else could not have chicken. It was not a matter of health. Mir Baba's order served as a reminder of him. Whenever the person saw chicken or peas or potatoes, they thought of the beloved and his order. While seated at the dining table, sometimes, well, can you imagine? You're looking at peas and thinking of Baba, potatoes and thinking of Baba. While sitting at the dining table, sometimes Baba's fingers began to move rapidly, and the women knew he was engaged in his universal work. We always felt that we should be quiet and not disturb Baba while he was working, Mera clarified. Baba's fingers' movements were not like ordinary tapping. They had a rhythm of their own, well, like horses galloping. Even when we were reading to Baba in the afternoon and Baba was lying in his bed, he would be making circles with his fingers. Mani related that the particular rhythm Baba used was unique. It was like Baba's special knock at our bedroom door at Upper Mehrabad. Knock, 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 knock. Two short knocks and then a longer one. He did something similar when seated, drumming his fingers to the same tune, two drums and then three drums. It was a tune Baba always gave, even with the electric bell by his bed at Marazad. We couldn't go in the morning till Baba rang the bell, signaling that the men had gone out. Tring, 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 tring. When he was seated at the dining room table for breakfast by himself, we were bringing the cups. I was seated beside him with the radio. He would tap his fingers in this manner, two shorts, then a longer one three times. Once, while Baba was seated quietly, his fingers moving, Naja walked into the dining room in a huff, preoccupied with her own work in the kitchen, instead of being conscious and attentive to Baba. She began gripping loudly about one of the servants. Baba looked at her with a puzzled expression and asked, "What are you talking about? Don't you realize I'm working?" And Nadja realized her mistake. Another day, when the women were already seated at the table for lunch, Mehera had just served food on Baba's plate. He began eating, and so did others. When Nadja came in, she usually came late after finishing everything in the kitchen. That day, she looked tired. Baba imitated her, saying, "Every day, Nadja comes into the dining room like this, squinting his eyes and opening his mouth." Baba loved to mimic and tease someone, and Nadja made a convenient target. He had an excuse to make fun of her, and everyone laughed at his comical expression. "What were you doing so late? Why didn't you come earlier? Every day Nadja does this." He squinted again. "Look how she's coming." From then on, Nadja was careful to open her eyes widely before entering the dining room.
Resume recording. Here's a nice picture of Mehera. Um, the date is unknown, but it's at Meherazad.
Okay.
Pretty. Who's that?
Mehera's dad.
Oh, really? That's Jahangir, huh? You're right. The prize goes to Mayor Kiran.
Personal hygiene. After lunch with a woman at 1 or 1:30 p.m., Baba returned to the mandali. Sometimes Baba went straight to Mandali Hall without going to his bedroom first. Other times he called the Mandi to his room and returned to the hall with them. Goyer administered medicine and pills to Baba after he had eaten, while Mehra did all of Baba's personal things, giving him a drink of water, serving food on his plate, holding his coat, or opening his coat buttons. Certain errands, such as bringing and giving a pill to Baba, Goher did. Baba returned to his room at 3 p.m. and Mani read to him from 3:30 until 5:30. At 4:30, he had a bit of save, in brackets dry chickpea preparation, seated on Ken Morse's reclining chair. Baba was most particular about time, Mani said, especially if the clocks were slow. The clock in Baba's room is a 7-day wind-up clock. Call Rano, Baba said. It was her household responsibility to see that all the clocks in Baba's room and elsewhere were set and wound. If the clock were fast, Rano came into Baba's room and started to set it back. Even if Baba was involved in something else, however, he clapped and inquired, "What are you doing?" "The clock is too fast," Rano explained. "Are you cracked?" he asked, with a look that said, "The very idea, she's crazy." "Leave it like that," he said. "I like it." Again, the same thing would happen. But this time the clock was too slow. Rano came to change it. Baba asked what she was doing, and she told him, "Good, change it." First was all right, Mani explained, but slow was fast was all right, Mani explained, but slow is not. In previous years, Rano had been In previous years, Rano had been kept busy making charts and helping in the household. To make herself more useful, she had taught herself to type. Circulars were always being sent to different centers, she reasoned, and money could use the help. Kitty had given them a book on how to type, and Rano made a board of the keyboard. She had practiced on her keyboard while she sat outside Baba's room upstairs during her afternoon watch. Meanwhile, Francis was composing ghazals in English and needed a typist. Adi Senior's assistant, Ferrum working Boxwala, was too busy, and sending the material to a commercial service would have been both too expensive and problematic. Therefore, after Rano had learned a little, Baba said that Rano should do it. At times, Francis got upset when I left out a line or made a mistake, Rano said. But Francis sometimes asked me to type something just as I had finished packing everything away for Guru Prasad. I typed the Blackbird songs, the ghazals, and some of the poems for the world at world's end. Sorry, some of the poems for the word at world's end. I did not much care for this, in brackets, the word at, but I cried while typing some of the songs. They were so beautiful. And there's a footnote, and footnote says Baba told Francis that a singer with a touching voice like Jim Reeves would one day sing his ghazals. Before 1965, Baba came to the dining room to have a cup of tea in the afternoons. Mani read to him there, or they might play music on the record player on the radio. Baba once heard a song on the BBC by the popular British band, the Beatles. Mehru remembered that he liked the song. The film, A Hard Day's Night, was playing in Pune while Baba and the woman were at Guru Prasad in 1965, but they did not go to see it. After 1965, however, Baba stopped having afternoon tea, except on those days when he washed his hair. In the later years, Baba washed his hair every 2 weeks and then less frequently. Baba hated to have his hair washed. Money related. He asked me to smell his hair. I did, but there was never any smell at all. Finally, after much persuasion, he would agree. Afterwards, when he sat in his sadra and boxer shorts, his hair open and drying, his sadra would slip off his shoulders. I would look at him and think, he's so beautiful. There was no one on earth so beautiful. Baba's hair was washed in the afternoon when it was warmer. Mehra watched it while Baba was seated in the bathroom in the boxer shorts. She used a Cebulex type shampoo, which Go had recommended, as Baba sometimes had dandruff and itching. When Mehra left the bathroom, Baba changed his underwear. Mehra held his hand while Baba stepped out of the bathroom, hair still wet. She gave him a sadra to wear and wrapped his head in an old, much used sadra that was soft. It was tucked in like a turban. On these days, Baba sat in the living room instead of the dining room, where Mehra dried his hair. Prior to injuring his hip in the second accident, Baba would stand in the sun to dry his hair. Baba sat in the sitting room drinking tea while Goher and I dried his hair with a soft muslin handkerchief. Goher warmed a small towel over the Criterion kerosene stove. In brackets, I did not touch the stove as Baba did not like the smell of kerosene. I rubbed the warm towel or handkerchief around his ears, under his hair, on his back. on his neck, his hair. Baba liked it. We used two face cloths, so one was always warm. Baba's hair would dry quickly as it was very fine hair. Later, he was losing much hair. Mehra took out the knots in Baba's hair, brushed it, and combed it slowly. He used a soft brush and an ordinary comb. One end has thicker teeth, one end finer ones. Baba's head was very tender, like a 3-year-old child's. His hair was so soft, so delicate, so beautiful. Mehra braided his hair as Mani read to him, or he listened to music, or perhaps Baba would be in a mood to converse with them. After Mehra finished, Baba reached behind to feel his braid. Is it ready? Now it's late. I have to go to the mandali. As Mani said, to get Baba to bathe in the later years took much coaxing. Baba would agree and then postpone it until tomorrow. The next day he would find some way to get out of it. The woman lost all hope and asked the man to try to convince him. Baba would be congenial, agreeing to have a bath. But when the time came, he found some excuse. You know how easily I catch a cold, he said, for example. Let it be sunny, then I will take a bath. When it was warm and sunny, he told Mehera, I have very important work today. You have no idea. The men are waiting. There is some urgent correspondence to attend to. When at last Baba did agree to have a bath, he always took it in his bathroom on the woman's side. Before the second accident, Baba bathed himself quickly, using at least 3 buckets of water and a mug. In brackets, more when he washed his hair. The woman kept the water ready at a lukewarm temperature. Footnote: Baba did not like his bath water hot, even if it were cold outside. After the second accident, when Baba was no longer able to bend, Mehra washed his hair, soaped his back, and washed his feet. Again, Baba was in boxer shorts. The others stood nearby to help with the pails of water and so on. Baba's hip was broken, so he could not wash all over. Mehra explained. It required too much movement. We used to do as much as we could for him. Mehra rubbed soap and shampoo on Baba. Then one by one the other women poured water over him. When I scrubbed his back, Mehra continued, I quickly tickled him under the arm. Mani, Mehru, and Rano were standing by. Each one wanted her turn. The bathroom door was always open. It was such a big production. According to Erush, this is one of the reasons Baba hated to bathe in later years. Baba liked to bathe quickly. If it was a torture, let it be done quickly and finish it up. But the woman took such a long time in making elaborate preparations, in quotation, for the lamb to go to slaughter, as Eruch wryly remarked. According to him, Baba preferred such things done by Eruch, who would do them expeditiously. Baba never liked any dilly-dallying, Eruch observed. He wanted everything done quickly. That is why his nature and Mehera's nature clashed. Mehera was very meticulous, methodical, dilly-dallying, very, very slow, and a footnote. Regarding Baba's personal hygiene, Eruch also observed that Baba had a habit of putting Q-tips in his ears. He liked to clean his ears when we were traveling. If there were no Q-tips, he asked for a matchstick and used the sulphurous bulb on the end of the stick to clean his ears. End of footnote. If Baba had not had a bath for some days, Mehera at least wanted to wash his feet. Since Baba was not walking much, however, his feet became sensitive and he did not like them washed either. Keep the water ready today, Mehera told Meheru. When Baba came to his room, Mehera reminded him that today was the day he had agreed to have his feet cleansed. Meheru brought a basin and pail of water. Baba scolded Meheru as if to say, "Why are you poking your nose into this? It has to be done sometime," Mehera said equably. Baba's feet were on the cushion, which was removed and replaced by the basin. The warm water was poured into it. Baba stuck his feet in it reluctantly. Mehra did not apply soap. He felt it was hurting him to have his feet rubbed, said Meheru. But it was necessary because he wasn't bathing. Mehra sat on the carpet and took Baba's feet out of the water. She kept them on her lap to dry them. Baba's lotus feet were so sweet, she reminisced. I would kiss them. Footnote. Seeing the earring looks of her listeners as she narrated this incident, Mehra added, "You all would want to feel Baba's feet. I know that." Baba said, "You will see my lovers all longing to see me. Anyway, you love him and that makes him happy." Persuading Baba to cut his toenails was an equally challenging task. Baba's favorite day, according to Mani, was tomorrow. If Mehra said, if Mehra said, "Okay, tomorrow we will cut them," Baba looked so relieved. Once the next day happened to be a Sunday. When they came to cut his nails, Baba said, "Today is Sunday." And as you all know, it is inauspicious to have one's nails cut on a Sunday. Nevertheless, Baba's toenails were cut every 4 days or so after Mehra had washed his feet. She did it so gingerly, it always took time. Mehra used nail clippers sent by Harry Kenmore to cut Baba's big toenails and a pair of toenail scissors for the smaller ones. Mehra also continued to trim Baba's mustache as she had done for years. His chair at the dining table was turned so that light from the window fell on his face. Mehra sat in front of him. Baba closed his eyes and looked miserable. When he opened his eyes, he asked Mani how it looked. "Well, a little more on this side," she might say. So Mehra snipped it. "Now a little too much on the other side," Mehra opined. "Enough said, Baba. If I listened to you too," he joked, I won't have any mustache left." And there is a side note which says, Baba's nails, mustache, clippings, and loose hair continued to be collected by Mehera as she had been doing for 30 years. Although Baba never used cologne at Meherabad in the last few years, Mehera applied perfume nearly every day to Baba after washing his face, especially on the days when people were coming for darshan. "Would you like some perfume?" she asked. "Should I apply it here?" And Baba permitted her to spray or dab some behind his ears or sometimes on his sadra. Kenmore had brought a bottle of Channel number 5 in a black case with gold lighters, which Baba liked. When Mehra saw that Baba liked it, she sprayed it on his sadra often. Because her olfactory nerve had been damaged in the accident, Mehra herself could not smell the perfume. "I apply perfume, but I don't know what it smells like," she stated. "No smell of flavors or an omelette. I gave my sense of smell to Baba." Side note says 4711 EAUDE cologne.
Eau de cologne. Yeah. Oh, it's the French word for water.
Okay. 4711 Eau de Cologne was another fragrance that Baba and the woman liked. Before 1957, Baba had never stayed in one place for very long. He traveled extensively both in India and abroad, changing his place of residence often. After the second accident, however, he resided usually at Meherazad. In fact, during this incarnation, Meher Baba has spent more time in his bedroom downstairs at Meherazad than anywhere else on earth. One evening, when he was sitting on his bed facing the window, Mehera was seated on her chair in the corner, looking at him. The sun was about to set, its rays shining on the hill opposite Baba's room. The colors were somehow different that day. Baba said to Mehera, "Come over here." She went and stood near Baba. Pointing out the window, Baba said, "Look, this is my television. My TV is better than all the TVs in the world." Mehra recalled. The view did look lovely that day. The flowers were in the foreground. The hill behind had nice colors on it: green, bluish rocks, pinkish earth. It was very lovely that time. The setting sun, the field ripe with greenish millet behind the flowers. Mehra said, "Yes, Baba, it really is beautiful." Another evening, after Mani had read to Baba, he was sitting quietly on his bed. The subject of Mehra's father came up. And there's a side note: television was not yet being broadcast in India. It began only after Meher Baba dropped his body. Mehra loved her father deeply. Jahangir had doted on both his daughters, but he died when Mehra was only 8. Mehra was telling Baba how sad she felt that Jahangir had not met him. She told Baba how kind her father was, how he would take her and her sister to the train from Sukur back to school in Pune, stopping for a day in Bombay and buying them presents. "Like you, Baba," she said, "my father was fond of singing and the sitar. It's a shame he could not have your darshan and serve you." "Baba, we know and love you," Mehra continued, "and therefore we are benefited. I feel so sad that my father did not see you and know you. He was such a fine person in every way. He was so nice, so loving. He loved his children dearly. How he would have loved you and served you. How beautiful it would have been. But he was not lucky enough for that. He has missed all this. It's a pity father was not fortunate enough to have met and loved you. What a shame that he missed loving you, that he missed being with you, that he hasn't seen you and been benefited by your darshan and contact." Baba shook his head. "No," he explained, bringing his four fingers together. "By your connection with me, he also benefits." Baba then revealed, "I can see your father now. He is born in a very good family and he loves me. He has connection with me." Mehra was ecstatic. Banished forever was her regret that her father had not met Meher Baba. Now she wondered who he could be. "Don't worry," Baba said. "Your father is very close to me. Already he's serving me and doing my work. You don't know it, but I know it. Don't worry at all. I have seen to that. Because of your connection with me, all your near and dear ones benefit." Mehra asked excitedly, "Who is he, Baba?" She started guessing different people. "Is he Eruch?" Baba shook his head. She mentioned other names, people who are at least 9 years younger than herself. Baba just smiled and did not reveal who her father had incarnated as, or indicate that he was one of the Mandali, though he did mention that Jahangir was not in a woman's form. One thing Baba did tell Mehra was this: You know, I have seen your father. Where? Mehra asked, surprised. In Pune, when I was a boy. Wasn't your father very tall and strong with a big mustache? Yes, I have seen him. He was quite handsome. Baba smiled. A very loving and sweet smile, and Mehra was extremely gratified. In side note, Baba's gesture for Mehra's father was a big mustache. Jahangir was 10 to 15 years older than Baba, so Mehra surmised that Baba must have seen him before her father was married. The Zoroastrian community in Pune was quite small then, and everyone knew each other. Mehra explained that this episode contains a message for all Baba lovers. Even if a parents, in brackets, or other relatives, don't love Baba, she stated, they benefit from your loving him. Through you, Baba has said, they benefit.
We'll pick up here next week.